Alright, so this is going to be a, what's it called? Games Done Quick mission for Lethal League Blaze arcade mode. And we're going to play it with dice this time. And I'll just start it. And yes, this is Shuffle Night music in the background. So that doesn't get taken down. Now, this game is, as you can tell, a fighting game. Though, of course, it's quite different than that of any fighting game you've seen. It's insanely fast-paced, and it's also, as you can tell, you don't fight directly, as in with punches. You control a ball, and so the basic concept is there's two people play. Well, you can go up to 4 people, but so there's 2 different colors of the ball, and so you're one color, like right now I'm red, and if the ball touches me and it's blue, then I'll take damage or I can die. So, but if one is my color and I hit the other person, of course, it does damage to them. And the damage is done based on how fast the ball is going. So if you see in the middle bottom of the screen, there's a little box, and it shows a number. That number is the speed of the ball. It starts out at 8. That's the minimum speed. And when you hit the ball, it can double or add a couple points to it each time. So if you do a down smash like that, it will... Well, see, that one I only added a few points, but you can up to double it each time. You can also reduce it by bunting and some other methods. The main goal is to get the ball speed up so that when you hit them once, you do as much damage as possible. So that's like the basic concept. However, there's also all these different characters, and they all have different abilities and movesets. Like Dice's ability, as you see, it does this like weird, once I activate it, which I do by double tapping attack, that activates the ability that, so, sorry, when you activate the ability, you can control up to a few different directions, and then it does that weird, like, half circle, and then it, like, in a weird, like, different speed than the normal ball, and then it'll go off as if it's like normal. And so you can also do this alongside the wall and a couple other things, but you can also change the direction, so at any time you can have it go left or right, and that's a good way of juking out the opponents. Now, since we're of course playing with AI, I'm not playing in the completely standard fashion, because they react slightly differently, and they don't really play normally. Like, for example, AI, actually, whenever so when you attack, you can do a block, like, and it'll create like a blue, like, area around it, like a force field type thing, and then if the opponent hits it, then they get stunned. The AI will only ever hold it completely down, whereas we generally just, like, tap it at a specific time. So if I ever see that blue force field up, I can just go up and then I can use the grab ability and just take it right out of their hands. Because AI will always hold it the entire time. So that's one little bit of thing that's good to know when you're playing against the AI specifically. Now, so I'm already like done with 3 of the characters. They get progressively more... Like, they add more logic to the AI, but they're still pretty easy. And the idea mainly is just to try and keep control of the ball until you get it fast enough, and then just try not to get hit. Pretty simple. But also, as you can see, like, if you pay attention to the AI itself, sometimes it acts kind of weird. Like, just randomly swinging in the air. And my goal is, so I preferably kill them before that thing up there appears. So if you get your ball into there, then it does a spin, and then you'd have like an item pop out, sort of like a Mario Kart-esque. Now, so the reason you want to get there before it, because, well, first of all, that means you're beating so each hit, because you have to kill each person 4 times, except for the last person. which we'll see. If that appears, that only comes in, I think, like 20 seconds in, I think it is. But that just means that you're going, like, quite slow. So preferably you never see it. And also one issue is if you do get it, then it does a little animation. And if you get really unlucky, there's a couple of the items that, like, are basically just countdowns because they're, like, so useless. And one of them is actually just a countdown that, like, gives you the ball. And it's... So it's just a massive time waste if you don't use it. Also, I forgot to split, but whatever. Now, one thing that I will put into the submission is that there's going to be a donation incentive for having... Since there's... I think there's 10 characters total, currently. I think, by the time that comes out, there'll be one more. Well, by the time GDQ is, there's a new character coming soon. But... any of those characters could, I could play them, because I play every character, and it's pretty similar between them. Some of them might be a little bit slower to play, but I think that's a good donation incentive. Yeah. Also, as you notice, I'm kind of spamming buttons right now, just because that skips all these little animations, it speeds up the game. And as you just saw right there, he just grabbed... So if you're on the floor, like, knocked over, then you can double tab attack, and then it'll... If the ball is close enough to you, it'll instantly go to you, and you have it as if it's, like, the beginning of a round. So then you have complete control of the ball until it... Because right now you see it's a different color, but when he's going to start out this next round, you'll see that it's like a thicker color around him. Well, he went and instantly attacked it, but yeah. So if I ever fall down on the ground, I can use that to my advantage. Now, one thing that's really easy to manipulate the eye is just going, or these more vertical movements of like down bunting and then instantly doing a neutral outside of it. That makes it so it's, because the AI just aren't that intelligent. And they're more used to just doing pure smashes, so they're not as used to seeing that. Also, ignore the fact that the time, my PB on here is really bad. Oof. Okay. Now, also one thing, if I can try and do it, I've noticed if I just do a normal neutral attack on them and it's at slightly lower speeds, then when they die, they don't have that weird animation you saw. And also that's what I was talking about, where it just goes right towards you. So, yeah. If I just do a neutral, if I go too fast, as you see, like above, I think like 65 or something, we'll have that animation where it shows like them getting hit down and dying. But I've noticed if I get a slower speed, okay, oof, definitely don't want to die. If I get a lower speed, then what happens is sometimes, I'm not quite sure quite yet why that's happening, I don't get that animation, I just die as if it's like a normal game against like a normal human. Oh wait, yeah, I completely forgot. I'm so used to playing against humans. There we go, he's dead. But yeah, if I can... Once I figure out exactly what is the conditions for not having the animation, it would save a little bit of time. Now we're finally getting... So Nitro's like the first... Yeah, as you saw, he's a bit more intelligent than the others. I mean, still really easy, but... So we're also, I think, after Nitro, there's just 3 left. But yeah, so I mean, the previous ones have all been easy, and it's pretty hard to die on them. But, I mean, besides the fact that I died on the last one, that was just me being dumb, but, you know. However, Nitro is sort of easy to manipulate. As in, like, he likes to do a lot of neutrals, so it's pretty easy to tell exactly what he's going to do. I did not want that to happen. Okay, he's good. Good. Now, so minor thing with Dice himself, specifically, as you can tell, so every character in this game can double jump, except one character named Sonata, who we already played against earlier. She can do a triple jump, and then there's one character, Doombox, who can only do, he can't double jump, but he has like infinite like hover ability. Also, if you notice, each of these maps have been a little bit different. Like this one is much longer than the others, so it's actually it's harder for me to play on this map than it is on a normal map, just because, as you can see, my character becomes smaller because the map itself is much larger. So it's a little bit harder to get my all the moves out because I'm more used to normal size maps. Also, major note is this game is 3D. It's a 3D 2 game. 2.5D is the term, as you can tell. And also all the backgrounds are like pretty cool. But yeah. Coming up after Grid though is an interesting one. Sort of like, so just like it's a clone of ourselves, and it acts sort of like a Dark Link type battle. And there we go, he's dead. Cool. I'm not a big fan of this map in general because I'm so much smaller. It's so long and so tall. I forgot to spit. Yeah, so as you can see, we're playing against what they call a noise clone of ourselves. I forgot again. Oops. But yeah, so as you notice on this next little bit, so when he drops down, I can make him go different directions. So I can subtly move how he does it. It's kind of hard after the beginning. It's hard to tell exactly what he's doing. But the bigger idea is to just try and do a bunch of different moves. Because if you start doing the same moves over and over, you'll just completely copy them. There's no like megaton hammer and like Ocarina for this. You just gotta sort of feel it out. Oof. That was just really bad timing on my part. Good thing the deaths really don't really matter too much, but yeah. There we go. Yes, okay. But yeah, as you can tell, the noise clone is noticeably more difficult than the others. Ooh, that's a good split right there. Yeah, so now we're playing against Doombox. We'll just have to wait for him to spawn in. And also, as you can notice, we have 6 hits instead of 4. So it's going to take a little bit longer. That was my mistake. But Doombox is actually pretty easy compared to Noise Clone, and actually a lot of them. Mainly because the ball speed, as you notice, started off a bit faster. So that means I can, if I just control the ball earlier, then it just becomes quite a bit easier. Because usually it starts off at 8, but as you can notice, it's a little bit faster than that. And seeing as I'm often doubling the speed, it becomes faster much quicker, of course. But yeah, so I mean, Doombox, as you can tell, he has that. He's the one I was talking about who has the ability to hover. So he doesn't have a double jump. So it's actually really different to play him compared to all the other characters in the game. He is really fun to play. It's just that he's much more floaty, and also your normal jumps are also very small. So it's basically if you want to do any verticality, you need to know how to do his hovering ability, and if you don't, then you're gonna have a bad time. Also, we're almost done with him because again, he's actually pretty simple. And there we go. Now, timing ends once we go past the score screen. So, just be a little second. It's almost up 15. There we go. So close. Yeah, so, I mean, that's a game. Dice and, like, Grid and a couple others are the fastest to go through the arcade mode with. As you can see, yeah, there's 10 characters right now. A new one's coming in an update in a month or two, I think it is. So by the time there's GDQ, there's 11 choices. So if the incentive goes through, then there's 11 possible choices for the different characters to play. All of them play quite differently, but yeah. They all have really cool skins and everything. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, that's it.